Good evening, everyone. I, Dr. Udita Singh, along with Dr. Gargi Roy Goswami, welcome you all to this talk show. So, in today's session, we'll be discussing about a very common topic, that is obesity. So, I'll begin with few questions. Hello, ma'am.
Hi Rita, how are you?
I'm good, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, ma'am. So, ma'am, this obesity, this is an overblown pandemic. So, ma'am, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, actually, if you see Rita, according to the WHO statistics, the particular obesity is not only in India but worldwide. It has actually tripled in terms of volume. It has tripled from last 1975, and the present statistics, like in 2016, it has been reported according to the WHO that 1.9 billion adults who were 18 years and older were overweight, and out of these, over 650 million were obese. So that's kind of a really an epidemic figure that I can say. And just to give you more idea, uh, see, it's not only about adults, but if you see nowadays, it's also with children. So according to the World Health Organization, that is WHO statistics again, presently last as measured in 2019, 38 million children who were under the age of 5. So they are found to be overweight or obese. So I totally agree when you say that yes, obesity is really a epidemic now. Yeah.
Ma'am, as you mentioned about two terms during your speech, one was overweight, the other was obese. So, ma'am, are these two terms different?
Udita, like if I talk about the as a definition, then I must say yes. So as you understand that what is overweight or being overweight or obesity, it is actually the abnormal or excessive accumulation of fat that may impair our health. But here, I will tell you of a little difference. There is something called as BMI, that is body mass index. So, what exactly is this body mass index? Body mass index is actually uh, is actually the person's weight in kg divided by the square of the height. It's like kg divided by meter square. So, according to BMI, when we try to classify obesity or and overweight, there is a slight difference. Like, for example, this is again according to the World Health Organization definition that a person, for particularly I'm talking about adults, so as a person who is overweight when their BMI is actually more than or equal to 25, now 25, and obesity is something where the BMI is greater than or equal to 30. So that's a small difference, but otherwise it can, I think it is used synonymously. Yes.
Okay. So, ma'am, what causes this obesity?
Udita, there, as you know about the diet, and there are many other factors, particularly three things here I will tell you. First of all, in a very simple way, I can tell you in one line about the causes of obesity and overweight. That is, it is basically an imbalance of energy. That means the imbalance between the calories consumed and the calories which are burnt off or expended, right? So, as you see, with our changing lifestyle, the food habits, right? So, as you see that more increased intake of energy dense food like food which are very rich in fat and sugars have increased, then also like previous generations where people were more into, you know, the pattern of work was that it is more of involved more of physical work. But if you see now, particularly with the past few years of urbanization and stuff like that, the sedentary nature of the work has started. Even there is a change in the modes of transportation. So, uh, somewhere or the other, these two are the most important background causes which are responsible for obesity and overweight. Along with that, other environmental factors, then social changes, and also particularly say the type of food, the consumption that we are doing. I mean to say we have more of processed food, you know, all those stuff together adds on to this factor. Yeah.
I'm out of curiosity, I want to ask, are there any genetic factors that can be linked to obesity? And if so, then how can we predict that?
Okay, I think that I think that is an obvious question which I expected from you, because I think I always speak about something related to genetics. Yes, to coming back to your question, yes, recent studies have shown that almost more than 50 genes are very strongly associated with obesity, and genetics contributes almost 40 to 70%. Okay, 40 to 70% of obesity. I mean, with happening of obesity. So in that way, if you see that our environment also has changed significantly, and these also, I mean, if I talk about past 2 decades, right? So even the environmental factors are also very important, which has joined hands together and made obesity to take up such an epidemic pattern. Now, also, I in among these genes that I was telling you, I will definitely like to mention about one particular gene that is called as FTO. That is, I mean, if I just expand it, it is fat mass and obesity associated gene. So, which has been seen that it is if this gene particularly is present not in everybody, but almost say 45 to 43 to 45% of the population has been found. So, what happens if somebody has this gene active in them? They will have certain, you know, uh, they will have certain symptoms, not symptoms, but I'll tell you how it works. Like, for example, because of presence of this particular FTO gene along with other genes plus the environmental factors, that person will have more hunger levels, okay, increased hunger levels compared to the other person. They will have a tendency to uh, just not work, okay. They will have a increased tendency to, uh, st- uh, you know, uh, to take up more and more. I mean, while eating, they lose the control over the normal, normal amount of eating that is there. Also, there's something called as satiety, that is feeling full. Like whenever we take meal, as you know, that we feel that okay, we are done at some point, and after that we are not able to eat, right? So that is satiety. Uh, so for these people who have FTO gene active in them very much, so for them, there is reduced satiety level. So they don't feel that fullness thing after a meal. So they tend to take more and more up. So that is how, in short, I can tell you about the genetic link between obesity as well as being overweight. Yeah.
Oh, ma'am, that was a real eye opener for me. I never knew that this can be related to genes. That
Yeah.
if I'm feeling full or if I'm feeling more hungry even after
Right.
eating a plate full, so this is something related to genes.
Correct.
This is really a wonderful insight, ma'am. So, ma'am, on the same context, I would love to know how can we reduce this obesity? Are there any measures?
Well, Udita, as you know that whenever this question comes, particularly at this point of present times, what people will tell you that eat less, do dieting and work out, and at least it is good thing that much focus is being given on the physical activity part in that way. But here, I will tell you in a different way. I will try to answer this question. Actually, uh, keep 3 levels this can be done, like to reduce overweight or obesity. It can work at 3 levels. First is at the individual level, second is at the society level, and third is at the industry level. So let me just tell you one by one what I mean to say. So at the individual level, as such, you can understand that intake of we have to decrease the intake of fatty foods or high sugar foods. We have to increase the consumption of more nuts, grains, and fruits and vegetables, and definitely a regular physical activity would be a bonus. At least for the adults, at least if not every day, at least 150 to 160 minutes spread throughout the week. That should be at least followed. Even for children, exercise and these kind of things are very, very important. So that would be one of the methods to reduce obesity at the individual level. Now, when I tell society level, so what I mean by that is that see, when we go out to these, flashy malls and all, and you might have seen that there are very interesting sugary items which are, which attract our eyes even. So just think of a child, that the child will be so very fascinated to have it. So I think there should be some policies from the authoritative bodies in the country. There should be something to be to decrease the sales of this kind of products. If not, then at least to impose certain more taxes so that the consumption is less. So that is one thing that can be done. And coming to the industry level. So here, when I tell industry, that is definitely I'm talking about food industry. So food industry can play a very, very important role in promoting healthy diets. Like, for example, they can reduce the amount of salt or sugar or whatever the components in the processed food. Then they can also ensure that these kind of healthy foods reach out to each and all consumers at every strata of the society. And they also can come up with some certain restrictions in marketing of foods which are very rich in very high in sugar and salt and fats, especially those foods, as I was telling you, which are aimed for customers who are teenagers and children. So I think all these things together, if it works in synergy, then only we can see in the up curve in the health of the society, and the reduction in obesity and overweight. So that would be a comprehensive way to go about, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am, very true. If we follow this triple measure, this trio which you mentioned, then I'm also very hopeful that this obesity, the incidence of obesity will surely go down.
Yeah.
Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your valuable thoughts with us.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you for this talk show invite, and it was very nice interacting with you. And I think we will keep meeting again.
Yeah,
Thank
same
you.
here. Signing
Thank
off for today.
Thank you. Bye.